Hi there, everybody. My name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. So this is going to be just a quickie. I just saw something that was so inspiring to me, and I wanted to share it with you. Robert Downey Jr., who is, of course, from the Marvel Comics series, one of my favorite mom crushes ever. He apparently was struggling with an addiction of some kind, alcohol, I believe, and he was having a real tough time and lost his footing in his job. He wasn't being hired anywhere, so Mel Gibson actually had and I guess Mel Gibson had a history, whatever. I don't really know all the details, but Mel Gibson had a role that had been crafted for him, created for him, and he offered it to Robert Downey Jr. instead and said, look, I can help you. You just need to embrace your inner self and hug your cactus, hug the cactus as it were, and really forgive yourself for all of your mistakes, for all the things that you've done, even through, your addiction, even through your problems, whatever they are, and whatever they were. You've got to work on that and forgive yourself and reach a point of humility. And Robert Downey Jr. said that was what was saved his life, was a friend being able to say to him, look, you got to be able to hug your cactus, and because nobody else can hug that for you, and hug your cactus and reach that place of humility. And the only payback for this, my friend, is please pass it on, move this on and be an inspiration to someone else, do something kind for someone else. But what fascinated me about that is that we oftentimes, we want to try to, when we have a prickly cactus in us, and we all do, when we have prickly cacti in us, we oftentimes will either project and hate other people's cacti because they're prickly and they're very obvious and they're tricking and tipping off our cacti. We want to avoid that or push it away or shame it or really, crush it, or we want to try to hug somebody else's cactus and make them feel better. We want to try to help them out of their bad spot. We want to try to help our friend get out of their addiction or whatever, and that's an addiction in and of itself as part of the whole codependent cycle. And so what fascinated me about this is Mel Gibson said, hug your cactus, get jiggy with your own cactus, and that's where you reach your humility. Is it really when we stop trying to change the cactal state of another person? I can't keep other people from feeling prickly, being prickly, or whatever they're going through, or whatever their addiction might be, if that's their issue. All of us have something, and whatever it is that makes another person miserable, there isn't any state of being that I can take that will help them that involves engaging the worst parts of them, or in emphasizing or doing battle with the worst parts of them, because that's the worst part of me that I can bring, is the one that wants to try to fix or shame or punish or anything that's really not serving the greater good of that person. The best I can do, rather than engage that from the worst part of me, to cease and desist and not engage it at all. If I'm not able to engage it from a healthier place, then it's best to just leave that person to deal with their cactus and deal with the pain and deal with whatever they're going through, while I go away and hug my own cactus and get okay with what's inside of me that wants to try to control, push, squish, whatever it is over there, or punish that person or anything. I'm not saying that we, have to put up with attacking cacti. If somebody's coming at me and they're attacking me with all their prickly parts, that's a different story. However, it's still not about it's a no, you're not going to be able to do that, and push it off at whatever level it takes and nothing more, as cleanly and clearly as possible, and then not be, punishing that person for being in a prickly space, for being ignorant, for being blind, for being unkind, for being whatever it is that we've judged in our mind. And there's nothing wrong at all with identifying. It's a good skill to know that, yep, that's a cactus and I got to go. It's a matter that we oftentimes will try to help someone out, or we'll want to do all kinds of things to either cut off their prickly parts and they grow back, or we want to, try to tell them that no, those aren't there, or we ignore, meanwhile we're being poked to death by that stuff. And while we're doing that, we also are very prickly and cacti too. It's just that it's a dance that doesn't serve, it doesn't work, and it doesn't bring about healthy boundaries. It means that we're, just constantly poking one another. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, that a character of Iron Man, it was considered, he was very egotistical. I have no idea where in his career this story fell, but he's very egotistical character, Iron Man, in the Marvel comic series. and he was, all about being Iron Man. I'm Iron Man. I'm Iron Man. And to see Robert Downey Jr. be quite humble and say, finding humility and finding a way to hug the cactus, as it were, and Mel Gibson standing off to the side, looking so proud of his friend that, because overcoming addiction, overcoming alcohol or drugs, whatever it is, self-righteousness, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness, unwillingness. I mean, we're all in some area out of balance, and that's all that addictions can really be classified as, is just how strong is the agent that's got a hold of us. And sometimes, believe it or not, self-righteousness and anger and all this other stuff, it's a much more dangerous and addictive substance than crack cocaine, as far as I'm concerned. It just depends on how a person is dealing with their addiction or their out of balance behavior, their dysfunction or their codependency. And it really depends on how do we deal with our cactus parts when we're out in the world. Are we trying to throw darts across the room and keep ourselves protected in that way, or are we trying to protect ourselves by trying to save the other person from hurting us? I mean, it goes into a million different iterations, but that was just such a very kind and loving thing to know that, I'm pretty sure that Mel Gibson has been in the same spot and had a problem with alcohol pretty hard, and my forgiveness, and beg forgiveness if that's not the case, but he certainly looked like a man that was understanding what it was to be dealing with something that we all have, our boogeymen, whatever they are, and to know that someone else has been in that same space and is willing to help me, to not shame me and not allow me to bullshit him or me anymore by saying, look, man, you need some help. You need to do something. You're out of work and nobody wants to hire you except for me. This is a Hail Mary, moment for thee. Take it or leave it. And if you take it, then please hug your cactus and then find your humility and move this on and share it, share the message, pass it on. In whatever way. And that's just to me, a beautiful illustration of two men that were obviously very loving and kind with one another, good friends, a mentor, a guide of some kind. And wow, wouldn't we really prefer, really, even when we are in our worst places, our worst states of being, isn't it the best when we have somebody who can be very clear, very clean, and telling us that they care about us, they support us, and here's the boundaries about how we're going to go forward, so that I'm not going to be poked by your prickly parts because you're hurting, nor am I going to support you doing that to yourself in front of me anymore. And it's not about punishing when we put boundaries down. It's a matter of saying, look, you've got work to do. I can see this. It's clearly affecting you, and it's affecting your ability to put a roof over your head and take care of yourself. It's killing you. That to me is a true friend, a true family member, a true loving person, 808, that has the willingness to stand in that kind of truth and honesty and say, I love you, and here are the parameters about how we can go forward. I'm willing to help you this one time. Having that talk multiple times, that's not really the same talk, but to say, look, I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to give you a chance because I see you. I see the potential. I see through all this, prickly stuff. However, it's not going to get better until you see that too. And apparently Robert Downey Jr. was ready to see that. And so anyway, I hope that's been helpful to you in some way. And it's an easy enough to find. I can put the link down below for the short that I saw. I didn't watch the whole speech or anything, and I don't even know from what year it came, but I'll put it in the comments below or in the section below so that you can see it if you want to. However, it's just the illustration of what it is when we truly understand our own journey, where we've been, and have great compassion for somebody else that's, possibly on a similar road, 909, and we really want to be kind in a very healthy and loving way. So may you embrace your cactus, your cactile parts, may you embrace them with kindness, humility, and be willing to understand that we're all struggling somewhere inside of us. We all have some, things that are going on. And if we deal kindly with our own prickly parts, then we're more likely to be able to deal kindly with other people's prickly parts. And sometimes kindness can be slap in a hand rather than holding it. So take care of yourselves, as I said, and enjoy your day. Get within your skin, because you're divine. It's so, so, so very smooth, tender, wonderful, and divine. Take care, my friends, and I will see you again next time. Goodbye.